speakers. I'll start with Jennyfer Salvo, who is a journalist, holds a master's in international relations. She's an expert in communication, innovation, and international business. She is the CEO of Softpower Connections. She's on the head of the board of Fortex. She is exclusive liaison of Tel Aviv University for Chile, Peru, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama. She's a Thomson Reuters Foundation Fellow, the first Chilean chosen by Vital Voices, an international created by Hillary Clinton to participate in two of her women leaders programs. One was public policies and the other one was in entrepreneurship. She is a mentor of Comunidad Mujer and Startup Chile, the main accelerator in Latin America, and she was jury for the Avani Innovation Award. Thank you, Jennyfer, for being here with us. It is now my pleasure to introduce Michèle Labbé, who is the chief economist for Dominus Capital. She is also currently serves as a panelist for Radio Agricultura broadcast and a frequent columnist for both the El Líbero and La Tercera. Michèle has more than 20 years experience as an economist consultant with Econsult and Fontaine e Ihnen consultores. Michèle has worked at the Ministry of the Economy as the lead head of consultants for tourism and promotion from 2018 and 2019. Michèle was also the director of SEP and director of Gasco. Michèle holds a master's degree in economics and finance from Pontificia Universidad Católica. Again, we're very grateful to have you here with us. I now give the floor to Jennyfer, who will start the presentation. Each presentation will be around 10-15 minutes, and it will leave plenty of time for the end to questions. You can send those questions to us through the chat feature on the bottom of the screen. Again, welcome everyone, and Jennyfer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Manuelita. Thank you to all the team of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm very glad to be here. We have been preparing this meeting for so long, facing the unexpected circumstances that we are all living. And so I'm glad to see you all interested in Chilean opportunities. We have been learning a lot. Many things are happening in Chile as in everywhere else. And I think there are many opportunities to find new businesses, new opportunities for investments, and ways to help the region to develop. I'm sure you may know Chile. Let me tell you very brief. We are a middle-sized country, 18 million, a medium level of development, even though we are in the OCDE. A constant growth in the last 30 years, very successful in the way we face the returning to democracy and a full democracy. But we are facing a very open economy, 26 free trade agreements with 85% of the world population, free trade agreements with the main economies also. And our main sectors are mining, almost 0.5% of our economy, and food, a quarter, 25%. Our main business partner, commercial partners are the USA and China, fighting both, who is in the first stage. We are facing, and I think you have been following the news, since October last year, a social explosion of new demands, tuning with the world's situation, people expecting better quality of life, more equality in the access to health, to pensions, to education. It was very impressive for us but also for the world thing. But it's nothing new. As Fukuyama says, we are facing a vetocracy period where big masses are demanding for more, and it's hard to find new leadership to face it and to find good enough solutions for such a big needs or problems. Chile faces results in an interesting way. We are facing a sequence of election processes this year, 2020 and 2021, to do two things. We will have authorities in the regional level and the central level, but also processes in a very specific processes to define a new constitution. It was a way to face the public demands to agree on a new text and new decisions to organize the society. So we are going to have here a lot of discussion what the best model, what the ways on how to solve problems, which I think are stretched a little bit, but very optimistic in the way that instead of having riots and problems on the streets, we are moving all processes to the electoral venues. Let's tell you three things. Chile is the world exporter in three main areas, which nobody knows. I just work in the country and I leave this strategy. And we discovered actually there's almost a very good speech, but very unknown in its own policies. We're the exporter in agriculture, food, fresh, and the grapes, cherries, blueberries, plums, and we are also very good exporter in mining, cocoa, and other derivatives. Very exporter in cellulose and forestry, and very exporter also in aquaculture. Those sectors are very important, and I want to have this in mind because there's so many opportunities of business. Considering these four sectors, there's so many needs, especially after COVID. And I think we can see Chile development in ways. What have been the historical trends? Things that have happening even before COVID, with increasing demand for protein, mainly meat, but also it's important to demand for plant-based proteins. We have animal food to feed in agriculture, but also in poultry and pork. Huge demands increased during COVID of automation for all sectors, agriculture, mining industries. New questions about market, how we can develop to respond to the massive demands, but also COVID to this new telework, life. And then what are the main challenges? This sector is increasing, moving to the south. Even though we have the biggest freshwater reserves in the southern hemisphere, we have seen a huge change in the climate, less and less rain. So the question is how to get energy, how to have renewable sources. Chile has the highest solar radiation in the world, in the Atacama Desert. So how to use that energy, how to put it in batteries, how to reserve this energy to use it in all the country. And also educational technologies that are being increasingly moving into the universities because the law that was ruled in the last government of Michèle Bachelet opening university as a free service for all students that can get. I want to share this slide because when we talk about Chile and if you're looking for business opportunities, Chile is the main hub for the region. It's the most developed country in Latin America, the highest income in the region also. So when you think about Chile, you have to see it as a gate to get in the region, and mainly Peru, I would say, has a very similar economy, less developed, but very similar in its sectors and in its way to develop. More than, let's say, I don't know, 8,000 Chilean companies are already based in Peru, operating. So business that are done here can be open there also in a very easy way. What opportunities are in the sector for both countries? All related to food, for these new food preparations. In Chile are more ingredients. Peru is a more sophisticated market for new food. Transportation, thinking of the complexity of the both geographic needs, and tires and other things for mining. In Chile, mining is on the mountains. In Peru, is more near to populated areas, both very challenging situations. Machines for all the sectors and fertilizers for agriculture, both in Peru and in Chile. We share part of the season, but not all. So some things that start to happen in Peru come next in Chile, and we have a contra season for the North Hemisphere. So it's always an option. And what happened during COVID? As everywhere, it was a huge shock. But not worse. World Bank expect has improved its evaluation of our the way we face this crisis. So economy seems to start moving. I think Michèle will talk more about the macroeconomics numbers. So I will stay in the more sectorial perspective. Sales in supermarkets has increased very strong, between 6 and 12%. Food has increased very much also during the quarantine and COVID, and also the e-commerce. It's amazing how e-commerce is working and how that has pushed all the main companies to change their platforms and start attending, giving delivery services, but also caring about consumers' rights. The quality of the services has been increasing, and it's been a very tension situation for companies. Telecommunication and financial and industries, retail has increased in 300%, the e-commerce, for example. Internet traffic has increased in 30% also, so there is a demand how to cover the country, how to provide a connection, not only in the cities, but also in the rural areas. While cities is also very difficult, we are, half of the population is in the house teleworking. All the companies that have been able to do it are doing so. How to keep that and moving the economy? And in mining industry has been interesting because from the whole universe of workers, only 0.4% has get sick from COVID. So there is a huge development on new solutions to face health. How to say? Sorry, I forgot the word. Working health, let's say. Government has reacted to the situation, launching a public infrastructure plan for $34 billion, caring about housing, infrastructure and highways, ports and airports, and all the infrastructure related to water. That seems to be a huge opportunities for international companies because they're really big projects. And also the digital transformation, how to face the new challenges in different areas. When we think about more sectorial and specific opportunities, I would say logistic, distribution, storage solutions, how to keep safe the value chain of food. For example, cheaper food, quality of food, New trends in food are very important in Chile, vegan, vegetarian, new ingredients are becoming more and more important. Consumers are more and more demanding and sophisticated. Well, internet, I already said. Everything related to digitalization has become very important, as well as cybersecurity for all companies. A couple of banks have been attacked during the pandemic, which has opened a whole conversation on how to be safe in this new telework. And mining industry, I will show you more details ahead. Well, I wanted to touch mining as a half of our economy. What is happening there? Those are the focal points. How to achieve cost reduction, environmental solutions. These are from water use to what to do with used tires, for example. It's a huge sector to explore with many demands, considering also that governments are considering new laws to increase the quality, the sustainability of the companies and the production. Increase productivity, of course, automatization and high safety standards for workers. Union workers, especially in mining, are strong. It's not the same in agriculture and agriculture, but there are no union problems in those other areas. Here I did a list of opportunities, more detailed. I don't want to go in each of them, just to show you. We can talk about that later during the questions. But there are many things that can be done with more technology, more sophisticated knowledge to face our challenges. And I would say how to deal with Chile, how to make business with Chile. It's not the same. Business culture is very specific. Chilean is a very regulated society. People trust on contracts more than in trusting our relations. Is more transactional than relational society, the opposite than in Peru. The companies and people try to build trust relation independent of the contract. It's a non-English speaking society, so Spanish is the main language. It's not easy to find partners to speak in English, so you always need a local partner, a facilitator to do the business, to understand. It's very important to take a look on the regulation issues and to the fiscalization of the operations. They're very strong. Our institutionality is strong and very well followed. For example, in food, we have a very developed law about composition of food, high in sugar, for example, in sodium, etc., which is already being as an example from FAO to promote it in other countries around the world. So it's a sophisticated society in those sectors. I think to face Chile's businesses, it's very important to identify the client's needs and to identify decision makers. It's not easy to get to the right person to offer, to sell, to close a deal. Important to check tariff. Because of the free trade agreements, there are opportunities interesting to you, especially for the US companies, that it's very worthy to check and pay attention. I think it's important to do research on specific market targets, because in certain areas, it's a very sophisticated society, very similar to the United States, with consumer habits like the US. So it's not, it's very different from Peru, let's say. So you have to be prepared, and mostly to know how to deal with the Spanish language. I think it's one of the main barriers to do business in Chile. What we are, so let me have 10 seconds of introduction. What we do, I run a company that promotes trade, international trade, supporting businesses from Chile to the other markets or from abroad to Chile. We represent Iowa. We represent Iowa State, for example. We work with the NOLA, Port of New Orleans, etc., and helping to find opportunities for each sector and for specific companies. And we also do scouting and representation of technologies. We do a lot of scouting in the States, in Israel, mainly to bring solutions to the region. That's what we do. Briefly, we cover 360 the services to help to develop of businesses and to assure the success of it. It's always doing international business very costly, the effort. And we have a variety of clients internationally and in Chile, in Peru, mainly in mining and food sectors. And that's it. Did I? Okay, that's it. It's my time, I think. I run. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was an excellent presentation. Thank you for going into detail on some of these important subjects that everybody is interested in hearing.
So let's talk about why Chile. I suppose that you are here because you already know a little about Chile, and but the answer is a very simple answer. We are a small country, but a great economy. We're a small country. Jennifer just said that we're a middle country. Really, we're a very little country compared not only to Latin America, compared to the world. Chile has 19.5 million people. It compares to Venezuela with 28 million people, and it's very small comparing to Mexico or Brazil, which has more than 120 million people and 211 million people respectively. So it's a small economy. However, when you see the per capita GDP, you can see that Chile has the highest GDP or income per capita with more than $23,000 measured in current purchasing power parity. So we are just followed by Argentina with 21,000. It may be a little erroneous that number because Argentina has two exchange rate. One is the official exchange rate, but it's not an exchange rate you can buy and sell dollars in Argentina. And there's the blue exchange rate, which is the real exchange rate, but it's not official. So it's a little difficult to measure GDP in Argentina. But after Argentina, we are followed by Mexico with $8,000 per capita. And well, Venezuela number is 2018. After 2018, they don't have new numbers to measure. But if we compare to Peru or Colombia, which are our nearest neighbors, we can find that we almost double Peru and Colombia, which have $11,000 and $14,000 per capita as GDP. So we are the richest, not by much, not by far, but the richest country in Latin America, and also this is because we have been capable of maintaining a great development over the last 3 decades. As you can see there, our GDP grew at an average of 4.7. There's a mistake there. I have just saw that it says 2020 per capita GDP. It's not that. It's growth. It's just growth, and it's an average of 4.7% GDP growth for the last 30 years. This means that we have grown as an economy from about $9,000 per capita in 1989 to more than $23,000 in 2020. So it has been a big change in the country. This great development over the last 3 decades has allowed our country to have the lowest poverty rates in Latin America. Our poverty rate this is 2017 data. Of course, with the pandemic, numbers are a little worse, but it's 8.6% of the population lives under the national poverty line. This compares very good to Brazil, which is the nearest, with a 19.9, Peru 20.2, and the Latin American average of 25%. The most important thing about this is that we have decreased 26.6 points through the last 30 years. In 1990, we have more than 40% of poverty in the country. And of course, this development has also allowed our country to have the highest human development in the country. And in the main area, in our geographic area, which is Latin America, with having a ranking less than 50, around 40 something, compared with Argentina, which has the next GDP or the next richest, Mexico, and the rest of the countries. So why Chile? Because we are the #1 player in Latin America. Even though we are a very small country, we have a great economy. We are the most competitive nation in Latin America, and since 1998, we have rated or ranked #1 in Global Competitive Index, in business environment, in best countries for business, in economic freedom, in GDP per capita, and we are the first country, South American country, in the OECD. So let's see the numbers about our institutionality, which is very important when you are doing business. We rank the first country of Latin America in terms of economic freedom. This is economic freedom 2020. We are the #15 in the world, and we are followed by far with Colombia, then Peru. Colombia ranked 45, Peru 51, and Latin American average is very, very, very low in terms of freedom, and it's 99. We ranked, as I already said, #1 in Global Competitive Index in Latin America, and #33 in terms worldwide, and with Latin American average of 76, and Peru, Mexico, and Colombia ranked 65, 57, and 48. As already Jennyfer said, we have trade agreements, 26 trade agreements signed with 64 markets. This, as you can see, we have increased in the last years. We have increased our openness to trade, signing this trade agreements, which allow Chile to avoid double taxation with 32 economies, which is very important when you're doing business, and gives access to more than 85% of world GDP to trade, meaning more than 4.3 billion people or potential consumers. We have the lowest perception index in the region. Our perception index ranked us in 2020 as the 26th country in the world and the first in Latin America, followed by Argentina with 66, Colombia 96, and Peru 101. In most of these rankings worldwide means around between 190 countries to 211 countries measured. In terms of rule of law, which for my point of view is one of the most important indexes that anyone who want to do business with our country must look. We are ranked number 37 in the world and first in Latin America, followed by Brazil, which is ranked 110. Of course, in this case, Venezuela is one of the worst countries in the world in terms of rule of law, and it ranks 208. So you can compare where Chile is in terms of what doing business. And just going directly through the doing business index, we're ranked 59 in Chile, followed very nearby Mexico, which ranked 60. This is because, of course, Mexico has a big advantage in terms of being the neighbor of the US. Well, then comes Colombia, which is in a lower state of development, and Peru with 76. And in terms of quality of regulation, we are far more good with ranked number 34 compared to Peru number 60 and the Latin American average of 112. So with these numbers, what you can see is that we are a good country to do business. Even so, this country is small, you can also use it as a Latin American hub. Chile can be your port of entry to expand your business and grow across the region, or just to invest in Chile. We have we are in the Pacific Islands, with the openness to trade over 221 million consumers. Chile is the largest investor in the region in mining, retail, department store, forestry, and constructions. And also we have a good quality, which is just a coincidence, but it's also good, is that our time zones and trade are the same with North America. So you don't have to expect some hour in the day to make business. We have the same time zones here. So if you are thinking no Chile, but you're thinking in Latin America, you must think Chile also. And well, I would like to talk very, very shortly about Dominus Capital, the company where I work, because we are offering now and we are looking now for investors. And we're a financial company, financial and economic company founded originally by two bankers who started a business helping medium-sized enterprises to get its funding for its projects, for getting bigger, for its expansions, or just to do business. However, as you already know, and in what happened all around emerging countries, we have been having trouble in terms of getting funding because emerging countries are looking for more stability in pandemic years. It's going out and it's diversifying, so it's going out for more developed countries. So for developed countries, it's a very big opportunity to invest in emerging countries, and in this case, to invest in Chile. So in these last years, Dominus Capital has been expanding its funding search for real estate projects, which has been a very, very good way to develop some business. We have now very good opportunities of investment, and we can find even better, not only with our search of funding, but also having some economic consulting and others. Here you can see what we do. Probably Manolita will share with you this presentation, so I will not expand in this part. I already said we work for financing companies, new projects, or just financing the working capital. But let me tell what opportunities we're talking about. This is what we have now. We are financing real estate projects with an investment term, an average investment term going from 36 to 48 months, an average funding of $4 million. This is a medium enterprises funding. Return rates go from 6% to 9%, so they're very good return rates you can find, especially in terms of these are very low volatility projects, because you have very good warranties going. Warranties for these deals with project ground, insurances, and other assets warranting the business. So we contact the North American Chamber because we were looking for investors interested in funding Chilean companies. And of course, you're all invited to talk with us and look together for new opportunities, especially for investments, not for 10 years or 20 years. Short investments which has less political risk and a very, very good interest rates and yields. We also can help you with mergers and acquisitions. We can make the evaluations, the negotiations for you. Of course, this is part, I will not repeat it. And well, as the chief economist, of course, we have economic consulting and investment consulting, dealing with regulations, competition, etc. So we're glad to invite you to visit us on our company webpage. And if you have any questions, well, now it's the moment to do it. Thank you very much for hearing that. Thank you, Manolita and the Chamber, for inviting us to talk to you today.
Thank you, Michèle, for a wonderful presentation. Certainly encouraging to hear. I do have some questions from the audience that one is directed to you, Michèle. And it's about social unrest that happened and how it increases Chile's risk level, or has it increased Chile's risk level? Is it safe to invest in Chile? What would happen with the constitutional process? And what you recommend to a risk-averse investor? That information.
Well, I think that you already know that all countries, not just Chile, has been in a process of a lot of and uncertainties, not only because of the pandemic, of course, because of the pandemic, but also because of this political explosions, or however you want to talk. The point is that this has been happening in France, this has been happening in the US, this has been happening in UK. So this is not something new. Chile has the most part of the population in Chile is very conservative people. So I think that of course, always there's a political risk, but I think that the political risk is lower than what we can see in the news. I follow very, very near all the political news, and what we can see now, and we probably will see in the next month, is that is the people talking, really talking, not these younger people asking for all their no duties and all the rights, because that's what's happening all around the world. These young people is very wants everything now, so ask for their rights without any duties. But most of the people understand that is not the way. So I think that, of course, there's a political risk. There always is a political risk. We are a Latin American country, which is always another risk. But I think we, as you could see in in the numbers, as you could see in the institutionality, we have very good founders of what we are. And of course, probably it's not the moment for a long-term investment, but it's very safe for medium-term investment. Nothing is going to change in the medium term. Manolita, you are without voice. Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Question, I guess also for Michèle. What are the time constraints for returning the original investment or income on it back to the US?
Well, I think it depends, especially on the region we're talking about, especially the state we're talking about. But we have there should be the taxes term, and I think there's nothing else. We have a foreign investment tax of 35%, so it's high, but probably it with these deals, it's also a good business. So I think that's the biggest point. And there's no another that, in fact, we have Canadian companies and US companies investing in our capital markets.
Thank you, Michèle. I want to thank you both again. I have received questions from the audience regarding the availability of the presentations, and I'm happy to say that they will be available. We'll have them on our website. We will be working on updating our website, so if you need to contact us directly for it, we'll be happy to send it to you directly. I want to thank you, the participants, for staying with us and for joining us this afternoon to our first webinar of the year. And keep your ears open for more to come. And check our videos. Our YouTube videos are available. Our social media for upcoming events. And if you're looking to membership, we'd love to talk to you as well.